let's get into it. Today, basically, I want to answer the question of how do you become and how do you stay empowered throughout your journey, okay? Now, if we're going to answer this question, you guys need to know what empowerment means, okay? So take a second. What do you think being empowered means to you? It is different from person to person. So think about you, and I want to get some answers. So let's go to Cindy. Hello, Cindy, unmute yourself. What do you think being empowered means?
Empowered. Just, I guess, in control of, what you're doing for yourself in your life to get to that next step. Mm-hmm. And empowerment helps you, I guess, get there.
Cool. So control. I like it. Rose, what do you think? What's empowerment to you, Rose? See if you can unmute yourself. See if you can figure it out. Is it working?
Yeah.
There we go. All right. What's empowerment mean to you?
I think empowerment means staying on your game. So like keep motivated and always having that goal in the forefront. So you're always empowered by the next step to go on.
Cool. I like it. You guys got some good answers. Let's do one more. Let's do Arlene. Arlene, what do you think being empowered means? What does it mean to you?
Be in control of your goals and your daily routines.
Love it. So control is kind of the theme. So for me personally, when I hear the word empowerment, for me it means being able to succeed without someone's judgment bothering me, and being able to fail without someone's judgment bothering me, right? Because you can't say being able to succeed without judgment, because there will always be judgment, but for me it's being free of anybody else's opinion and just continually being able to make myself proud. That's what I see empowerment as. So how do we keep that feeling? And how do we kind of, because sometimes it will fade, right? You guys all know sometimes you have courage, sometimes you don't, right? Sometimes you feel like you're feeling yourself, sometimes you're really, really not. So how do we keep it, or how do we pull it out of us when we need it the most? So I want to start with a little story, okay? And this story is about a little boy and a dog, okay? And this little boy is best friends with his dog, and the dog comes home one day and the dog has fleas. He's itching like crazy. He has fleas. The little boy has no idea how to cure him of his fleas. So guess what he does? He goes to his grandma and says, "Grandma, help me. How do I get rid of my dog's fleas?" All right. And grandma says, "Give him a piece of garlic. Give him a piece of garlic. The garlic will go into his blood. The fleas won't like the smell of it, and they'll go away. Give him a piece of garlic." So the kid's like, "Beautiful, awesome. I love it. Let me go try it." So the kid grabs a clove of garlic, puts it in front of the dog, and what does the dog do? He turns his nose away. He doesn't want it. He needs it, but he doesn't want it. So the little boy goes all the way back to grandma, and he says, "Grandma, I don't know what to do. The dog won't eat the garlic. He doesn't want it. What do I do?" And grandma says, "Put it in a piece of ham. Put the garlic in a piece of ham." So the little boy goes and runs to the kitchen, grabs a piece of ham, shoves the garlic in the ham so the dog can't see it, and then goes and gives it to the dog, and guess what the dog does? He eats it up. He doesn't even think about it. He eats it. Fleas go away. They live happily ever after. All right, so how does this apply to where you guys are at? So the garlic is what you guys need. The ham is what you've been told you want and what you think you want, right? The weight loss industry is only dealing out ham. Sounds silly, but is it making sense? It's really only offering you guys ham, right? You guys want a six-pack. You guys want to get toned. You want a new diet. You want a new workout plan. You want this new thing. You want this ham, because it's been dangled in front of you your whole life. When really, if you want lasting change, you need that garlic. But nobody ever wants the garlic. So how does this relate? So it's very important that number one, okay, to empower yourself, you know the difference between garlic and ham. You know the difference between what you want and what you need. Because if all you needed was what you wanted, you wouldn't get very far. Right? You'd probably stay the same if you kept just going after what you wanted instead of having somebody else interject and help give you what you need, right? So we're conditioned to want this ham. So you have to pay attention and figure out, what do you really, really want? What have you thought that you wanted, but realized as you've gone on this journey, you actually don't want, actually doesn't matter to you? You've been force-fed the ham, you've tasted the ham, you don't want the ham, now you're going straight for the garlic. And that's what all the Academy queens, so all you ladies on this call, you guys are all about, like, give me the garlic, give me the garlic. At first, we had to tempt you in with the ham, right? 21-day Kickstart Challenge, lose weight fast, right? That's what you wanted. And then along that journey, it shifted. Not only did you realize you don't need the ham, you now actually crave the garlic. So that's the first step, all right? Being able to identify what's garlic versus what's ham, and then transitioning to the point where you actually are searching for the garlic, searching for the stuff that is not typical, searching for the stuff that's not readily available, right? Because everything that is readily available is overkill, right? It's done, it's repeated, it's dead. Diets, workout plans, apps, supplements, it's done, it's done, it's done. It's been beaten with a stick a million times. So that's not what you need, right? We need the mind makeover. So being empowered is first of all knowing what you actually want in your core, right? How can you be successful? How can you be in control if you don't know what you actually want, right? Not what you've been fed to want, right? And we're all looking for the garlic now. So you need to find out what that garlic is for you. What do you need that you are missing? Not what you want, right? You want a new diet plan, you want a new workout, you think those are the things that are gonna be quick fixes, but what's the garlic that you need in your life? All right, so take a second and think about what's the garlic that you need, right? So what's gonna cure you of your fleas? Write it in the comments. What's that one thing that you didn't really know you needed until transitioning into the Academy? What is that mindset shift? What did you want in the beginning? And what do you realize you truly want now? Ooh, Casey says patience. I like that. Mackie says taking power back. Ishika, failure. So failing so you can learn. Exactly. And like, is this pretty? Are these pretty things? No. Are they shiny? Do they sound good in a sales letter or in a headline? No. Right? I'm going to teach you patience. Would anybody buy that? Would anybody want to go on that journey? No. That's why so many people are feeding you ham, and that's why you've been almost brainwashed this whole time. But, so Cindy says, consistency and follow through. Exactly. So these are all things that you know you now need, but didn't know you needed before, or didn't hold value to before. Now you hold value to those things, the unsexy, the boring things, right? Usually the unsexy things are the things you need the most, and now you're starting to hold value to them, right? We're still going to get distracted by the shiny ham, right? We're still going to smell it, we're going to see it, we're going to want it, but you need to be smart enough to turn away and say, no, I need garlic. I don't need this, I want this. So that's number one, and that's story number one, okay? Now, next step in empowering yourself, okay? This is something that I learned along my journey, but I actually experienced this when I was young. So in my early teens, I grew up listening to classic rock. Like my dad's in a band. He loves shredding it on the guitar. And he loved like 70s classic rock bands like Zeppelin and the Stones and all that. So I listened to that music, and I always wanted to be a drummer, right? I wanted to play the drums like John Bonham, like the drummer in Led Zeppelin. So much so that I made my dad enroll me into lessons, right? And I was super excited. I'm like, I'm gonna be the best drummer. I'm gonna be the next coolest thing. And I got to the lessons place, and I bought my first pair of sticks, and then I met my instructor, and then we went to the room, and I sat in front of my first drum kit, and then I thought I was just gonna be a rock star automatically. I was like, I got this, and I went to play, and it was a mess. It was a disaster. Like, I could carry a beat, sure, but I couldn't do any fancy drum fills. I couldn't play with the sticks all cool, like all the drummers I saw. I couldn't do it. It was really discouraging. And, it kind of shattered this illusion and this dream that I had. But I kept going, I kept wanting to play the drums and be good at it. Like I wanted to go to a party and pull it out and look super cool in front of everybody. That's what I wanted. But, over time, over a couple months, I practiced less and less. I faked sick so I can skip some lessons. And I just lost a passion for it because I was just playing the drums. And now looking back at that moment, this is huge. The reason I failed, the reason I didn't become successful and become a successful drummer is because I kept telling myself, I play the drums. I play the drums. I just play the drums. I never said, I'm a drummer. Can you guys see the difference in that sentence? Because if I aligned myself with the identity of I am a drummer, I would do what drummers do. And what do drummers do? They practice late at night, they get blisters on their fingers, they keep going, they take gigs, they do everything. A drummer works hard and practices. But because I didn't think I was a drummer and I didn't tell myself I am a drummer, I just said I play drums, I didn't follow in line with that identity. Does that make sense? Very, very cool concept. So how does this apply to where you guys are at? So you guys are fit queens, and I call you fit queens, and I wrote that manifesto for you. Why? So that you can believe you are a fit queen, that you can align your actions and your thoughts and your decisions with being a fit queen, right? You're not just part of Fit Queen. You're not enrolled in a Fit Queen program. You are a fit queen. Can we see the difference? Because if you were just in a Fit Queen program, if you fell off the program, you'd say it was just the program. The program didn't work for me. But because you are a fit queen, when you fall off a program, what do you say? What do you think? You say, well, I'm a fit queen. I restore responsibility. I pursue pain. I repeat repetition. I look at facts over feelings, and I burn bright. And you read your manifesto. And then subconsciously, everything you do is going to want to prove why you are a fit queen. You don't want to be proven wrong that you're a fit queen. You don't want to do anything that goes outside of your character, right? So that's why it's so important to shift your identity. I am a fit queen. Not I'm getting healthy, I'm losing weight, I'm part of Fit Queen. It's I am a fit queen. And then every day you act like it and you embody what a fit queen is. And that's the next level on really embracing and becoming empowered. Okay, and I have another story for that. There was a really popular study done. This was fascinating to me. 2 groups of kids, all right, they put them in 2 separate rooms and they were writing a test. All right, same test, same level of difficulty for both groups of students, okay? One group of students was told that, you guys are really smart. You guys are smart, this test will be easy for you. And then they wrote the test. The other group of students were told, you know what, this test is not easy. It's pretty difficult, guys, but you guys are hard workers. You can do it. And then they did the test, okay? And then when they were marking the test from both sides of students, guess what the results were? It's crazy. So the students who were told that they were smart, they left a ton of answers blank. And the students who were told that they were hard workers, they answered every question and got higher marks because of it. Now, what does this mean? So because they were told they were smart, they didn't want to do anything to disprove that they were smart. So instead of trying to answer a question they don't know, and then they were too afraid of getting it wrong and appearing dumb. So they just didn't try altogether. So can you see how what you say and how you speak to yourself influences how you tackle different situations? Is this making sense? Very, very cool concept. This applies to, children too. If you have children and you keep telling them, you're so smart, you're so smart, you're so smart, they're not going to want to do anything to disprove that. So then they're going to hold back from situations where they might fail and learn. But if you tell your kids that they're a hard worker, they're going to always want to prove that they're a hard worker. Which one would you want more of? A smart kid or a hardworking kid? And which one do you want to be? A smart fit queen or a hardworking fit queen? I don't ever call you guys smart. We call dogs smart. Smart is subjective. I say you guys are hard workers and you follow the golden 5. So that is a super important key, all right? Now, my third story of the night. So now let's take it to step 3. So when I was in high school, I was part of the cross country team. This was like the first team sport I was ever in school. I was never really considered myself athletic. I was just running in gym class one day, doing some laps, and the coach came over and said, hey, you want to try out? So I was like, sure, whatever. And then I made the team, and I was a cross country runner. And my school was really, really well known for cross country runners. We would always come first or second in our region every year. We'd take home a trophy. So the training and the coaching we had was pretty serious. And usually a cross country season ranges from September to November in a year. That's usually when the cross country season happens. And then from December till March, there's indoor track. And from March until about June, there's outdoor track. So I was a really, really good cross country runner. So I would run my season September to November, and then I would practice running during indoor track and during outdoor track to keep fit and get ready for next year's season. But then what happened during the summer? So June rolled around, we had 2 months off, right? So what did our coaches do? Our coaches wrote us a program. They wrote us a program of what workouts to do, how much distance to run, what intervals we should do. And that's how we were going to stay fit and healthy throughout the summer, so that when we would come back in September, we'd be ahead of everybody else, right? So here we are, it was about a group of 20 of us, about 20 people on this team. And we're told, do this program for 2 months and you're going to become the best of the best. You're going to be way ahead of everybody else. And then they just handed us this booklet. What do you think happened when they handed us a booklet? What do you think happens when you just get a diet or you just get a workout plan? Nothing. Nothing, right? I did the program for about 1 week because I was excited and I wanted to be the best and I wanted to be ahead of everybody else. But then when life got busy and when incorporating that routine became hard, because the thought of becoming the best wore off, I stopped. I just stopped. I didn't do it. And guess what the other athletes did? Guess what every other person on my team did? Exact same thing as me. They didn't follow the plan, even though it was meticulous. It was meticulous. It was done by a kinesiologist, someone who had experience with running and athletes for decades, and we didn't even do it. It was the best of the best program to become the best of the best runners. And because we just did it on our own and we were expected to go in and do it on our own time, on our own schedule, we didn't stick to it. So September rolled around and we started back at square one where we were last year. How crazy is that? What does that demonstrate? Exact same problem that you guys have had up until now. Losing weight is easy to do. It's easy to do, especially when you're excited by the results you see. But then when something throws you off, or what you've been doing to lose weight becomes hard to maintain, we don't do it anymore. Because nobody wants to do something hard by themselves. Nobody wants to put in hard work by themselves, right? You just don't. You don't. When you want to move houses, you don't move by yourself. You recruit all your family members and your neighbors. No one wants to do hard work by themselves. So knowing this, instead of convincing yourself that you'll do it this time by yourself, you need to implement a family, a community of like-minded people to be there when it gets hard. Because it's a lot easier to go through something hard when you have people going through the same thing, right? And when we were in the summer and we were supposed to do our own program, if they scheduled practices, if they had checkup calls, if we had deadlines to meet, I would have become the best runner ever. I would have been the best on the team. But they didn't. And that taught me a very, very valuable lesson. You cannot do anything hard by yourself because it will not last. Because motivation doesn't last. And if we were so good at doing hard work, our to-do list would be empty and we would already be fit and walking around like supermodels, right? So those are the 3 main stories to empower yourself. And basically the lesson in all of this, is find your garlic, all right? Find your garlic. Identify as a fit queen, not somebody who does something, as someone, and then have hard work accountability, and that equals empowerment. Those 3 things: garlic, identity shift, and hard work accountability. That is what's going to get you control. That's what's going to get you freedom to succeed and fail without judgment of other people bothering you. That's the secret key. Is this making sense? Love it. So tell me a story in your life, okay, where you should have been successful, but you weren't because you were lacking something. So was it a time where you lost weight? Was it when you got a promotion, but you didn't have the right training? No one guided you along the way. Was it when you were trying to teach a lesson to your child, but you told it instead of showed it? Right? This is universal. It goes across every area of life. So who has a story where they should have been more successful than they were? Who has a story? Who can think of it? Ishika, go ahead.
I remember this vividly because I'm like just going back to finish it. But when I was so I've been doing karate for like 15 years of my life. Like it has been such a long time, and I was only doing it because my grandpa really wanted me to do it, and I didn't want to disappoint him and all that stuff. And then when I got to grade 11, I was at my brown belt, and they like were asking me if I wanted to enroll for like an entire year to get my black belt, because it's a full 1-year program. And like at that time, I just like told myself that I was too busy. I was like, I'm going into grade 12. I need to get into university. I was running to be like VP for something for my school. So I was like, I got to do campaigning. And like, I just don't think I wanted it enough, or like knew the actual like reason why I was doing it, that I just like completely quit. Like I cried when I was quitting too. Like when I told her, I was like, hey, I'm going to come back. But I literally cried so much. And then now I'm working for 8 months, and then I realized that like I have such a long time, and like it's something that I've been doing for such a long time, that why not go back and get my black belt at the end of the day. And like, yeah, they're still testing me on everything from like the beginning, but at the end of the day, like I am enrolled back for a year now, and I should have just done that then than doing it.
Yeah, and that's such a good lesson, because so which one does that embody? So that one is our first one, the garlic versus ham. So this is a good practical application. So Ishika had so much going on in her head, she didn't know which direction to turn. So she turned towards the ham, what everybody thought or what she thought she wanted to do. Everything else in life. Because the karate thing, the black belt, it seemed too overwhelming, too long, and like it didn't fit in. But really, if she went for her black belt, if she went for that garlic, imagine where she would be now. Not just physically, but how much mental discipline she has. How much less she'd care what other people thought, because she was able to identify the garlic from the ham in the first place. So that's a really, really good practical application. And remember that too, like big life decisions are usually influenced by fear. We only make a decision, especially the big ones, the ones that we only make a couple times in our life, it's usually influenced by fear. Fear of not getting something, or fear of missing out, or fear of losing something. And, you know, for the most part, does fear make you happy? Does fear make you satisfied? No. But the ham disguises itself as something that will nurture that fear, that will get rid of that fear. But really, it's just you giving into your fear for temporary wants. The garlic is much more scary to go after, much less sexy, but it's going to have way more rewards. But that requires you to act against fear and take risks, and that's terrifying, right? Who's somebody who's like, you analyze everything. You write a list of pros and cons. You never make a decision on the fly. Like you always have to have an essay of why you should move this way. And I used to be like that. And if I did that, I would never open up a gym. I would have never had a business. I would have never dated Ryan. Like every huge decision I have in my life, if I look back, and I didn't know this at the time, if I look back, it was because I was going against fear. I didn't know why I was so uncomfortable making decisions, why I was so uncomfortable with the thought of opening up a gym, why I was so uncomfortable with going online, why I was so uncomfortable saying yes to Ryan in the beginning. And it was because those decisions were the most important ones. And I knew I had to make them subconsciously if I wanted to be happy. Because if I made no decision, that's the worst thing possible. Waiting too long to make a decision makes the decision for you. And usually it's forced fear. Okay, so that's a really good example. Who else has an example of when they should have succeeded, or they should be farther along in something than they are right now? I think, Casey, you had your hand up. Did you forget it?
No. So, well, I have a few, but I'm just thinking like, so when I graduated high school, I went into criminology, and that was like my passion, like law and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I worked a few mediocre jobs, and a lot of them weren't good. Like the work environments were toxic and stuff. And I just felt like I was kind of in a rut. So it was like either stay here working like just above minimum wage job, or do something about it. So I actually chose to go back to school, and I'm in a school for accounting now. And I feel like I really had to push myself and get out of that comfort zone, because then it was going back to being like financially dependent on my mom again. Yeah. And trying to better myself.
Yes, I love it. So that's cool. Let's take the opposite. So that's a situation where Casey actually made the uncomfortable decision. She went after the garlic. She knew she needed to pursue this. Otherwise, there would always be a hole. She'd always be thinking, what if? right? And that is the worst feeling in the world, sitting with a what if. That's horrible. So she did the absolute obvious, and that's awesome. So that's like, you know, she aligned herself with somebody who makes uncomfortable decisions for the better good, for the future, right? She could have just said, I'm safe where I am. I don't take risks. I don't do that stuff. But she said, I am an accountant, or I am blank. And what do blanks do? They do this. They make the hard decision and they move forward. And that's exactly what she did. She made that uncomfortable decision. And look where it's paid off. Is it easy along the way? No. Is it a long road? Mm-hmm. But what's the other option? What's the other option? If I was just drumming versus I'm a drummer, right? I am a drummer. I put in work. I reap the rewards of being a rock star. Or I just drum on the weekends for fun and can do one beat. It's not very cool at parties, right? So who else has a story they want to share? Either both sides. So where you made the comfortable decision when you knew you should have made an uncomfortable decision, or the opposite, when you forced yourself into an uncomfortable situation. You got Cindy, did you put your hand up? Yeah, go ahead, Cindy. Let's get the juices flowing.
I've been selling real estate now for 33 years.
Oh, wow.
I've been very successful on and off throughout the years. And one of the things with weight loss and with business and myself is consistency. So it's like, you know, I'd go crazy busy and pour out like 6-8 deals in a short amount of time. And then, you know, and then kind of ride off that and then kind of chill a bit.
Yep.
And then fall back into, you know, lazy mode, and then have to start building myself and motivating myself back into the business again when the money's like starting to run out.
Yeah.
So it's something like, even now becoming a fit queen, which I am a fit queen.
Yes.
You know, it's starting to instill like more consistency with me. Like, just, I've really stuck with the program, and I'm, you know, I haven't fallen off. And I know you say to look for, you know, falling back or falling off and facing it, so that your system, you can get immune to it and to keep going. But no, it's helping me. And I think it can help you in all aspects of life, in your business, in weight loss, in your relationships with your families. Yeah, so it is helping me, but I'm still working on it to just instill more consistency.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. That is so true. And that is so true of my past too. Like, I would go balls to the walls. I'd lose 30 pounds. I'd make X amount of money in the gym, and then I'd chill out. And then I'd sit back and enjoy. But just because, you know, you made it so far doesn't mean you take your foot off the gas, right? Like, the biggest threat to future success is current success. And that is so, so true. Anytime you take your eye off the prize, anytime you fall backwards, comfort is the devil. Comfort is the opposite of growth. If you continue to stay comfort, if you continue to ride that roller coaster, you're going to get inconsistent results. Inconsistent behavior, inconsistent effort will only ever produce inconsistent results. Okay? Because if you've been in here for 4 weeks, 12 weeks, 4 months, whatever, okay, you've only been given this amount of effort for X amount of time, right? You've proven yourself that you can put in consistent effort for this amount of time so far. But this is something you build on, you build on, you build on. Because nobody's success in life up to this point has been like this, right? A lot of you have been just like this, maybe like this, then back down. Little dips, high dips, low dips, and no effort has been consistent. And that so rings true for me. Oh my goodness. It really is a killer. Like, the biggest threat to future success is when you get full of yourself, or you get excited, or you celebrate. Okay? I don't really celebrate any goals that I reach. Ryan and I don't celebrate. Why? Because if you don't want to be affected by a low emotion, don't do the opposite and have a high emotion. Because if you stay consistent with your effort, consistent with your energy, and consistent with your emotions through this process, whether you fail or succeed, it's still going to be like this. The failures won't affect you down here because you don't celebrate the successes. So when you drop, you don't drop all the way down here. consistency in all areas. And we're still learning that. And it takes a long time to incorporate it in everything. Consistency with your sleep schedules, consistency with your meal prepping, consistency with your exercise, consistency with your communication with your significant other. Crazy consistency with for your family, your scheduling with your family, like across all boards, right? You're only as strong as your weakest area. And who has weak areas? We've all got weak areas. We all got weak areas. It is what it is. So what's your weakest area? Put in the comments, what do you think your weakest area in life is right now? Is it your health, your weight loss? Is it your relationship with your significant other? Is it spending time with your kids? Is it not cooking? Like, where do you find that you're lacking in life in general? Let's really get deep here. Let's go outside of the weight loss scope. Where are you lacking? So Cindy says balancing everything. Yep, exactly. It's like tipping the scales. Something always gives. Balancing everything. What else, ladies? Where are we lacking? Time management, exactly. Courage, career-wise. Ooh, that's a good one. Self-confidence. So you guys notice how what you've said as far as what's weak, do you notice how it's pretty vague? And do you notice how you can apply that feeling or that thing to everything you do in life? Time management. That applies to career, family, and weight loss. Lack of courage. Career, family, weight loss. It applies to every area of your life. So you cannot be consistent in weight loss and not consistent with your family. It doesn't work. That means this consistency is temporary. You haven't proven to yourself that you are a consistent person. You are just consistent with your weight loss efforts right now. You are yet to prove to yourself that you can do this long term, right? It's only been X amount of time. It's just something you build and you build and you build. And instead of saying, I'm going to build this brick wall today, you say, I'm going to add a brick to my wall today. That's all it is. I'm going to add one brick to my wall today. I'm not going to try and finish the whole wall today. I remember when that's what Ryan and I did literally when we had the gym. We had our gym is about 4,000 square feet, and we had a room section off about 1,000 square feet of it. A room with laminate flooring. It was kind of like the little yoga studio. And we wanted to get rid of it because our clientele was growing and we needed more space. So I don't know what we were thinking. We were like, all right, let's get this huge wall. I don't know how tall the ceilings were. It's an industrial unit. So they are high ceilings. We're like, let's knock this wall down all by ourselves in one night. Because we were trying to hypothetically or theologically build that wall in one day. So we woke up at 3 a.m. on a Saturday. We worked till midnight on the Sunday. We went home and slept for 4 hours and then came back 2 hours later and taught classes. We took down drywall, we took down studs, insulation, flooring, like absolutely crazy, because we thought you have to do everything all at once. And that's just like what Cindy was saying, right? You go all out in little spurts. But I would rather be a 7 out of 10 every day than at a 10 out of 10 once every couple months. I'd rather be a consistent 7 out of 10, because do the average. Do the average of your effort. You're probably sitting around a 2 to a 3 if we look at your year, if we look at a year in advance. So I would rather be consistently a 7 out of 10 and work on that first than try to knock down the entire wall in one day. And sometimes we can get stuck in that, right? Like, I mean, it gets overwhelming, right? Because who still has a long way to go with their body? Everybody. Who still has a long way to go with their mindset? Everybody. Who still has a long way to go to truly embrace empowerment? Everybody. And does that get the best of you some days? Does it feel overwhelming some days? Does it almost make you not want to do anything because that goal seems so far away? Yeah. It's analysis paralysis. You ever heard of that? Analysis paralysis. We think too much to the point of where we think ourselves into inaction. We think ourselves into paralysis. But whenever you get that feeling, just look back. Instead of looking too far forward, look backwards and see how far you've come. And then you feel okay with where you are. It's not about building the wall. It will get built, but not if you try to build it in one day. If you add one brick at a freaking time. You're human, you're one person, you are doing the best that you can. And we are here to help, and we're here to push you, and we're here to motivate you. It's a very powerful thing to accept that you don't accept where you are, but accept that you know you'll get there, right? It's very, very hard to accept that you're not where you're supposed to be, but accept that you have faith in yourself that you are going to get there. Does anybody on this call have 100% faith in themselves that they will reach their goals? 100% without a doubt. Put your hands up if you do. Yes, couple ladies. Couple of you do. Couple of you don't. That's okay, but that is what this community is here for. Self-efficacy, empowerment. If you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what you suck at right now, because you know you're going to get there anyway. Doesn't matter what you suck at. Doesn't matter how many times you fail along the way. Doesn't matter how much you don't know or how stupid you feel or how slow your progress is. If you believe in yourself, which is what empowerment is, believing that you can do whatever the heck you want, then it doesn't matter how far you have left. You can calm yourself in the moment and know that you're going to get there. It can become very overwhelming, especially if you have a ton of life goals too, right? You have this weight loss goal, this mindset goal, this career goal, this, I want to save this much money. I want to buy this house. I want to travel here. We have all these goals. You're like, how the hell am I going to get all of them? Well, slow down, backtrack. Are you a victim? Are you going to let yourself die with regrets? So why are you stressing out? You will not let yourself die with regrets. You will not let yourself be on your deathbed thinking, I wish I did blank. What if I did blank? You're not going to let that happen. So it's okay if you're overwhelmed in the moment. You know that you're going to get to this end point. Just take a step forward. Don't build the wall, build the brick. Does that make sense, ladies? Love it. So write your revelation in the comments. Let me see it. Let me see it. What are we taking away? Are those 3 big stories about the garlic and the ham, about, I'm a drummer versus I just drum, and then cross country, me getting lazy and fat over the summer. Those are the 3 big stories. Which one kind of touched you? So 1 brick at a time. Yeah, brick by brick. Stop trying to build a wall in a day. Yep. Eat that garlic, sis. Love it. No such thing as too much garlic. No such thing. The garlic and the ham story. I love it, Bev. I am a fit queen and I will work hard towards being consistency. Vithu says, hard work is not done alone. I love that. Yes. And Nancy says, yummy garlic. That's it, guys. It's very, very simple. And you guys know, like coaching call after coaching call after coaching call. I'll give you tricks. I'll give you tips. But what am I giving you more than anything? I'm giving you power. I'm giving you the control to change your life. I'm putting it in your hands, and I'm inspiring you to believe that you can actually achieve it. That's why this is so cool. Because I could give you every diet plan that I have planned for you guys, every phase of weight loss. I could give you every meal plan all at once. I could give you a year worth of workouts all at once. Where are you going to be a couple months from now? Overwhelmed. And it becomes hard work, and you don't want to do that alone. So these coaching calls are so important, and I love doing them, and I love imparting my failures on you guys. I really want you to think about, so you guys now know these 3 stories, right? I want you to think of your own 3 stories, the equivalent to mine, okay? We only really understand something if we can relate it to ourselves. So where's an instance where you went for the ham instead of the garlic, okay? Where's an instance where, you were giving everything you need to succeed, but it got too hard and you fell off, right? And then where's an instance where you wanted to do something and become something, but you didn't follow it through because you didn't identify as a person who does follow that through. Think of these stories, okay? Think of these stories. I look back on all my failures fondly, and I analyze them because, even though I failed so many times and I didn't know what I know now, it's cool and it's so interesting to see myself grow. Like I handled this situation like this. Then I grew and handled it a little bit different, but not much. And then it grew and it grew and it grew. And now I'm able to share it with all of you guys so you can avoid it completely. And it's so exciting. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Keep looking for the garlic. All right, 1 brick at a time. That's all it takes.